Hey, beautiful biscuits. I hope that you are having a wonderful day. But it occurs to me that this time of year causes a lot of anxiety. It really peaks up for panic attacks. Loneliness can be a big issue this time of year. So I think our mental health in general has taken a big hit the last couple of years. And this time of year is always notorious for bringing out our worser voices of our internal monologue, right? The more criticizing, the more down, more melancholy, the more upset, the more anxious voices, right? And we all have those voices to some degree in our head that are, emotional trigger points, right? Things that really make us feel down or scared or just like giving up. And I think that there are really wonderful, great ways to help combat that this time of year. So I think one of the best things you can do is to get outside. It's so powerful to get fresh air. If you live somewhere where you get a little bit of sunlight or even a rare sunny day, go outside, suck up that sun. Even if it is rainy and cloudy, sometimes I will put on my rain gear and I will just go walk in the rain for a couple minutes, like maybe a 10-minute walk because it gets soaking wet. And it is so nice to just get outside. So when I'm feeling overwhelmed or anxious or just having a really rough day, it can be super helpful to reset my rhythm that way. Another thing that I love to do, and I talk about this so much on Patreon, is really tending to my schedule in a way that allows me to cultivate time for self-care. And this time of year that looks like warm, long baths, hot showers, swimming. It's gonna look like putting on a little foot mask or something. I love a little foot mask. While I watch a movie and giving myself enough time to recharge. And that can be really hard, right? Like I've got 2 young little kids. If I want to, watch a movie undisturbed or something, I'm giving up sleep, right? I'm staying up once they go to sleep and I'm putting on a sheet mask and I'm watching a movie. But sometimes I realize that that's so important for my well-being to give myself space and time in my life, in my week, to really tend to my own needs. And that can be huge. If you are feeling overwhelmed, if you are a parent, and boy, you just find that, you're getting grumpy with your family, you are not feeling satisfied in your life, a lot of the time that's just burnout, You're touched out, you're needed out from the holidays, right? Like everybody needs you as a parent at the holidays, and it can be exhausting. And that can really wreak havoc on our mental health. It's amazing what being physically, mentally, and spiritually touched out and just sensory overloaded on can do to our psyches, right? So give yourself a little time, a little grace this time of year where it's okay. You don't have to be 100%. It's all right to not feel great all the time. I know we're supposed to be joyful and perky all the time, but it's okay if we aren't. And it's also okay to say, hey, I'm not just going to be, well, I'll just feel bad. No. We can also then recognize when we're feeling down, when we're feeling overwhelmed, and take steps to take care of our mental health. Without shame, without thinking, well, I better hide this, I should do this in secret, I should have this mask on of perfection. Perfection is for chumps. I mean, who wants perfection? That sounds silly, and that sounds like a lot of work. I'm by far too lazy to aim for perfection. I would much rather have happiness and joy that then I can share with my whole family and everybody I love, because when I have fully charged batteries and I am sustaining myself emotionally and physically, suddenly it's a lot easier to sustain everybody else that depends on me when I've actually taken care of myself. So take this, if you needed your reminder this time of year to, hey, take care of yourself, that's right, I'm talking to you, Biscuit. Take care of yourself. Don't feel shame in it. Don't think that it's some guilty secret pleasure that you took 5 minutes to pee alone. Oh my goodness. Like I get 5 minutes to pee alone. But the joys, one can dream. Anybody with kids understands that. Children will find you when you need to pee. Even if you've said, I'm going to pee, please don't follow me in. My son likes to FaceTime Grandma and Grandpa because they live in a different state. and then tries to bring the phone in if he sees me going to pee, you know? And I'm like, Grandma and Grandpa don't need to come in the bathroom with me. I'm good. Are you sure? No, I'm good. And when he runs in with the phone in his hand, you know, and opens the door, I'm like, oh man, well, I hope it's just Grandma and Grandpa on the phone. He doesn't like called up some stranger. That's why we shouldn't teach our children how to use phones. It's hazardous. It's hazardous. But carving out space and time for ourselves is really important. And it's easier to do the lip service than actually the legwork of carving that time out. But find ways. Maybe you have to get a babysitter for an hour a week just to have some mental space. Maybe you need to stay up for 45 minutes after the kids go to bed. I highly recommend not staying up too late after kids go to bed. I know you need that space. I do it too. But you really, like, I have to set myself a time and then say I need to go to sleep, because otherwise, you know, the baby wakes up at 4:30. I'm hosed. So make sure you aren't doing your self-care time at the absolute detriment to sleep. Like, you still need to have good rest. I have a video going up on the second channel about homemaking tips that I have kind of gleaned from hotels and things, but it also involves homemaking tips that I find help you be more rested and more calm in your space. So you might want to go pop on, check that out, because if your space isn't calm that you're doing your self-care in, it's really hard to recharge those batteries, you know? If you're sitting in a super messy living room with toys all over the floor, trying to have half an hour of Netflix, it's hard to calm down from the day. Take a big breath, let out all that busyness and anxiety. Isn't that so amazing what just a breath does, right? It's easy to get all wound up in everybody else's needs. So go take care of yourself. Be gentle this time of year, knowing that there are a lot of emotional complexities that, you know, are just a part of being a human being alive. And it's okay if you aren't perky 24/7, but you can also make sure that when you are feeling down or you are feeling overtaxed, that you can take steps to feel better and not just sit there in the discomfort. I'll see you over on Instagram, where I'm posting what? Tons of photos and reels? What, me? Me playing with reels? No. Would I do that? Would I get silly with reels? I don't know what you're talking about, biscuits.